Welcome to DROD'S MMA and Boxing. Last night, Anderson Silva squared off against Derek Brunson. Basically, here's my breakdown. And pretty much everything went the way I thought it would go, except for Anderson's chin that held up. I was very shocked how his chin held up, and I was kind of thinking that, if he got hit, he may end up going down, but he didn't. His chin held up against Derek Brunson. But for the most part, what I did like about the fight was I did like Anderson's jab. I think that if he used that jab more often, he'll be able to set up more action. He's an older fighter. He's slower, and he's more concerned about being countered. And they mentioned that in the fight that he was slower. That he mentioned how slow he was to these other guys. And like I put in my breakdown, Anderson Silva has been slowing down for a while now. It's just that people haven't been able to see that he's slowed down, or that haven't been able to see his age, because he was winning fights, because he capitalizes on people's mistakes. And now we're seeing him at 41. He's getting ready to be 42 in April. Now we're starting to obviously see his age kick in. And a lot of people are talking about it, but for me, I've been seeing it for a while. For example, in the Damian Maia fight, he got tired in that fight. That's the reason why he wasn't really going all out. He actually got tired, but he has a poker face. The thing about Anderson Silva that makes him a great fighter is that he has a poker face. When he's hurt, you can't tell he's hurt. He doesn't have any expression. When he's exhausted, you can barely tell that he's exhausted because he doesn't show any expression. I think he hurt his knee in this fight, but he didn't show any signs of being hurt at all. It's just that's the way Anderson Silva is, and he's got something that these younger fighters can really take from, far as learning the psychological part of fighting. So basically, the fight was, to me, I guess it was close. You can't complain whether it went either way. I gave the fight to Anderson Silva. And the reason why I gave him the fight was because he was the one in the center of the octagon dictating the pace. That, to me, that's ring generalship. And he's the one pressing the action, whereas Derek Brunson, he's the one that's backing up. You're the younger fighter. You're 33 years old. You've been more active, and you're the one that is literally running from Anderson Silva. And I know that with the punch stats, and this is my issue with CompuBox number, they don't tell the full side of the fight. It's like NBA basketball. When you see someone win, you look at someone's point stat sheet, and it's, oh, look, this person got 36 points. Well, you didn't say that 12 of his points came when the game was decided. The game was already over, and everyone was sitting on the bench, and then that's when he got his 12 points. The stats don't really always tell you what really happened in the fight. Derek Brunson probably landed some shots, but it was after Anderson Silva had to dictate the pace. This is prize fighting. I'm not going to give you credit for running the entire round. You got a 41-year-old, getting ready to be 42-year-old man who is chasing you around the ring. That's ridiculous. And a lot of people were giving him, I heard the commentators giving him the round based upon how well he did. Look, you're a professional fighter. Do you expect me to give you kudos for lasting a round? Even though the guy is an elite fighter, you are a professional fighter. If you get to the point where you need brownie points, then you might as well just pack up your bags and go home. He even texts Dana White complaining about how, I feel like I got cheated, and this is how I feed my family. Well, if this is how you feed your family, then you go out there and actually win the fight. I don't know what kind of fight you were trying to win, taking these wild shots from a distance. It's embarrassing. And for me, here's my issue too with wrestling. I like grappling and I like takedowns only when you are advancing your position. If you're using it for the sake of avoiding getting punched in the face or because of fear, the motivation for the grappling is different. It's different for someone saying, hey, I'm a grappler and this is what I do best. My best attribute is to try to get the fight to the ground. Well, then, you know what? I'll give you credit for that. But if you're afraid to get punched in the face and you're just trying to hold on, that's no different than a boxing match when someone gets hurt and they hold someone for 12 rounds. Do I give you credit for that? No, because the reason why you're holding on is because you took a punch that hurt you, or because you're afraid of getting hit. The motivation is different. So I'm not giving you credit for that. And I'm watching the fight and I'm seeing this guy run around the ring. You're not getting credit for that. Not at all. Especially when you're getting chased by a counter puncher who, again, is 42 years old. So Derek Brunson can complain all he wants. As far as I'm concerned, you have no one else to be mad at but yourself. I gave the fight to Anderson Silva 2 rounds to 3. I gave the last round to Derek Brunson because he did initiate the takedown and he took Anderson Silva down. The first round, Anderson was dictating the pace. And the only way Derek Brunson was able to get Anderson Silva to the ground was because Anderson, trying to go for the kill, he jumped up and threw a flying knee and fell on his own. And then at the end of the round, the fight ended with Brunson being in Anderson's guard. You don't get credit for that. There's no credit for someone falling and you just happen to be on top. There's no credit for that. Not at all. Second round, I gave it to Anderson. Only because, like I said, once again, I mean, come on, dude. He did take Anderson down, but Anderson was able to get back to his feet. You didn't pass the guard. There was no strikes landed. Kudos to you. You got points. If we're going to say, oh, he get credit for takedowns because this is wrestling, well, also in wrestling, you also get points for turnovers and escapes. I mean, so if you're going to do it that way, you got to give points. If you're going to do a wrestling scoring, then go full-out wrestling scoring. As far as I'm concerned, second round, I give to Anderson Silva because he is the one dictating the pace. Now, what I did like about Anderson, I did like the jab. And there's sometimes he does things that make me wonder, like, man, this guy, he's light years ahead of this younger fighter. Like, for example, that wizard, when Brunson went for the takedown and Anderson just got back to his feet, that was so beautiful. And I'm like, this guy, he's older and he still has the skill. And he's ducking, he's dipping, he's dodging Brunson's punches. To me, I'm like, okay, he still has it. He has a beautiful jab. What I would like to see him do more is use that jab to set up things because he is a slower fighter. However, I believe if he used that jab, he'll be able to push his opponent to the back a little bit more. He'll also force them to fight more because they're getting pumped with the jab. And I think if he got a nice jab, and Anderson's jab is like a right hand. It's like a strong punch. Remember when he knocked out Yushin Okami with that jab? I believe he has a strong jab, and he can continue to utilize that jab in his game, and you can see him. You can see him really. It'll help evolve his counter game, I believe. The other part that I liked of this fight, I definitely liked when Anderson was on the ground in the second round, and he used this. I couldn't really get a view of it. I don't know if he had butterfly hooks at all, but he was able to get back to the ground. It was pretty much remarkable. It was beautiful the way he did it. It's things like that that says, man, how much this guy has in his arsenal. I mean, he knows so much techniques. To see him at this age still incorporating stuff that I haven't seen him do in his career is amazing to me. But like I said, he is older. I was shocked that his chin held up. And Brunson did what I thought he did. He did the same game plan with he did with Uriah Hall, trying to stay away and then try to grapple and clinch. But I'm not giving you credit for that. I'm not giving you credit for basically fighting scared. I'm just not. This is prize fighting. You don't get credit for that. The only thing that shocked me was Anderson's chin held up, and a lot of people gave him credit for the when he was in the clinch. I'm not giving you credit for that either because once again, Anderson's dictating the pace. And you're throwing shots. What's amazing to me was that some of those shots did land, but Anderson was rolling with the punches. So a lot of those weren't really doing anything to him. I mean, Anderson does that a lot. He lets people hit him in the face, and sometimes when I see that, that showed me that he's getting back into the swing of things. After the Chris Weidman fight, he was kind of fighting scared. He fought scared with the Diaz, and I don't like to use the word scared. Conscious is the word. He was more conscious with the Diaz, with Diaz. He was conscious with Michael Bisping, but now it seems like he's getting more comfortable in there. The only thing is, I would just like to see him use his jab to probably set up things and improve and his cardio. His cardio, it's not there either. But once again, to me, you gotta take it like he's 42 years old. He's not taking testosterone or any other stuff. A lot of the other guys who were able to fight past 40 were able to take products and other things to be able to stay in there longer. It is what it is. I enjoy watching the skill set. As far as the fight, it's uneventful, but whatever. This is DROD'S MMA and Boxing. If this is any value to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and y'all have a good day.